advertising during and in ancient times to branding and marketing now in the modern era. Advertising as an industry and as medium through which products can be introduced or launched has greatly evolved. During ancient times, the very first form of advertisement was vocal, the shooting of announcements. The next kind of advertisements come in the form of printed ads, posters or notices which usually have pictures only because few could read. In Rome, advertisements of gladiator matches. In Arabia, commercial messages and political campaigns, political advertising on display. Egyptians used papyrus for sales and advertisements. Greece and Rome, papyrus used for lost and found posters. In Asia, Africa, and South America, wall or rock printing. On 15th and 16th century, printing was developed. Advertisements appeared on handbills. And on 17th century, advertisements in the form of newspapers. The first newspaper began in England in 1620, and the first advertisement is said to be one for the return of a stolen horse. And simple and straightforward descriptions of products and no embellishments. Mainly used to promote books and newspaper, which were becoming increasingly popular with the printing press. Advertisements used to promote medicine, which has largely sought in Europe as disease were rampant. Early and middle 19th century, newspapers still did not place much emphasis on advertising. However, and restricted the advertisements to the back pages with very little pictures. Some advertisements were appeals for the capture of slaves in America. Few companies which mass production of goods with branding, less opportunities for advertising. Advertisements on medicine were proliferated due to conventional medicine being unable to provide cures. Manufacturers have to vie for the customer attention. Industrial revolution is where the technological advances. Explicit branding was introduced. To ensure consumer safety and quality in the products, adds value and reputation to manufacturers. Images and color were added. More flavor was added to advertising. More choices were possible. Business environment starts to change with the increase of industries manufacturing standardized products, advertising increasing in response to this change.
In the late 19th century, Thomas Barron, the father of modern advertising, introduced a series of advertising promoting the product called Beer Soap, placing more emphasis on marketing the product. It also launched a series of advertisements featuring children. Promotes an image of simplicity and purity, which still hold as the company's values today. Emergence of advertising agencies completely refreshed advertising industry, having the need to respond to an increasing market. Products now needed advertising or promotion to survive. Advertisements now serve as a medium for communication as well. In 1843, the first advertising agency was established by Volney Palmer in Philadelphia. Air and Son was the first full-service agency to assume responsibility for advertising and to charge a commission on advertisements. Advertising a career option for women. On World War I, during 1920s, advertisements were used as propaganda by the British. First part of 20th century, total advertising volume in the United States grew from about $200 million in 1880 to nearly $3 billion in the 1920s. And mass media was also used. Increased mechanization of advertising industry, which led to increase in costs of products. Producers used advertising to create a sense of need in the consumer. Advertising agencies, instead of only providing advertising space for creators of advertisements, are now hired to actually design and create the advertisements. Advertising could make use of the cinema, magazines, or radio to effectively transmit messages. Greater advertising expenditure than before. Wall Street widespread crash, Great Depression, and World War II put an end to widespread affluence. In the 1950s, introduction of television, consumers now have enough disposable income to really respond to the need creation messages of advertisers. More material and luxury goods were created. Thus, more advertising was needed. The growth of science, dieting, and cigarette advertising. Europe was relatively slower than the USA in allowing commercial TV stations to broadcast advertisements. The idea of the commercial break was introduced by NBC executive by Sylvester Weaver to allow separate blocks of broadcast time for the advertising.
Is called a creative revolution or the American advertisement. Bill Bernbach, who helped to create revolutionary Volkswagen ads. Audience were more segmented, more advertising with target mind in the audience. The late 1980s and 1990s was the introduction of cable television and MTV. Consumers voluntarily watches channel advertisements. Entire channels on cable television dedicated to advertising of the merchandise. MTV also promoted popular culture and proliferated the use of advertisements. In the late 1990s, marketing through the internet became more and more popular. Some websites used advertising as a revenue containing a sort of advertisement. Service as a platform on which the consumer can use. The advertisements which the manufacturers have paid to the place on the site. In the 21st century, Google introducing an obtrusive advertisement, increasing the number of interactive advertisements, involves viewers and participation, like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and others. Guerrilla marketing, 21st century also is the birth of guerrilla marketing, unconventional ways of advertising in the public. Example, giveaways and campaigns.
What advertising will be like in the future is something we may not be able to predict. With the rapid societal changes and technological advances, it is evident that advertising in society today will continue to use all the media possible to communicate with the audience.
Since modern society places so much emphasis on popular culture, it is believed that advertising will increasingly use product placements in movies or celebrity endorsements. Advertising has become much more important today, so much so that it has become part of our culture. That is something that we take for granted, we see every day.
However, what may become of advertising in the long run is something that none of us would be able to predict for sure. This is the end of our presentation.
Thank you for watching us, and good afternoon, Philippines.